Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that NATO support could end the hot stage of war. At this stage of the war, Ukraine is willing to regain its annexed territories from Russia. Now, Russia, on the other hand, has warned Ukraine against its NATO ambitions. And our next report gets you more details.
One of Europe's fiercest armed conflicts since World War II, the Russia-Ukraine war has resulted in thousands of deaths and massive destruction of infrastructure. Moscow's attack on Ukraine's energy facilities has left over 1 million households without power. With Washington's permission, Ukraine is striking deep inside Russia with US-made long-range missiles. But it is a race against time, with US President-elect Donald Trump promising to end the Russia-Ukraine war soon after he takes the office. Ukraine is desperate for a solution that will not worsen its position. Ukrainian President Zelensky has even held out the possibility that his country could cede territory to Russia, temporarily in exchange of a NATO umbrella over the territory that Ukraine still holds.
But if we want to stop the hot stage of the war, we should take under NATO umbrella the territory of Ukraine that we have under our control. That's what we need to do fast. And then Ukraine can get back the other part of its territory diplomatically.
And that is a big come down. Kyiv had all along stated that it will continue to fight Russia till Ukraine returned to its internationally recognized borders. These include Crimea as well as the 4 regions annexed in 2022: Donetsk, Kherson, Luhansk and Zaporizhia. Now, Ukraine has opened itself to other security guarantees to achieve peace. But Russian President Vladimir Putin is adamant on his demands, one of which says that Kyiv must give up its NATO ambitions and surrender the 4 provinces claimed by Moscow. The Russian president has warned Ukraine it may even strike decision-making centers in Kyiv with its new missile.
As has already been said, we will respond to the ongoing strikes on Russian territory by Western-made long-range missiles, including by possibly continuing to test the Oreshnik in combat conditions, as was done on November 21st. At present, the Ministry of Defense and the General Staff of the Russian Army are selecting targets to hit on Ukrainian territory. These could be military facilities, defense industry enterprises, or decision-making centers in Kiev.
Putin claims the use of several Oreshnik missiles in one strike would be comparable in its devastating power to a nuclear weapon. The war has been in Russia's favor in recent months. With its advantages in manpower and equipment, it is pushing Ukrainian forces back in eastern areas. The growing military relations between North Korea and Russia is also worrying the West. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un calls Ukraine's use of long-range weapons a result of direct military intervention by the United States. Kim believes Moscow is entitled to fight in self-defense. And amid the war weariness, President Zelensky's popularity is fading. According to a recent poll, most voters would prefer that he does not seek a second term. The poll by the Social Monitoring Center surveyed 1,200 Ukrainians and found that as few as 16% of Ukrainians would vote to re-elect him for a second term. The poll has also revealed that about 60% would prefer Zelensky not to even stand for re-election. It remains unclear when Ukrainians will be able to choose their next president. Zelensky's term of office ended in May, but new elections are suspended indefinitely under martial law that was introduced at the start of the Russian invasion. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what is happening at the moment in the Ukraine war, we're being joined by retired Lieutenant Colonel Glenn Grant, who's from the British Army and also a former advisor to the Defence Minister of Ukraine, and he's joining us live on this broadcast. Now, Colonel Grant, let me in fact start off by asking you, at the moment, in your assessment, what do you think the situation of the Ukrainian defence is in the war? Because according to reports that are coming in, the Ukrainian army seems to be suffering from a lot of desertions and the morale there is very low.
I think that you you've made a good point there, and that desertions have been quite high and morale has been quite low. And partly this is because of largely this is because of the style of the leadership of the Ukrainian army. The senior generals, too many of them, have still been trying to fight using Soviet-type methods, and people just don't like that. However, there's a new army commander promoted and changed yesterday, a General Drapati, who is extremely popular, having been successful since the beginning of the war. And I'm almost certain that is going to have a morale boosting effect across the system. So how much effect that has, I don't know. But you're right in that the Ukrainian army is being pushed back. It's being pushed back, but it is actually very slowly being pushed back. And on the Russian side, the Russians are actually getting many desertions themselves. So it's not this is not a one-sided morale thing. The Russian morale is also extremely low,
right?
Because so many of them realize they're being used as cannon fodder.
Right. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that he expects that this war will come to an end in 2025. And he's also said that Ukraine may consider ceding the territory that Russia has captured at the moment in the 4 provinces to Russia, provided that there are security guarantees that are given to Ukraine as it currently now exists. Do you think Zelensky is now reading the writing on the wall, that the American support which existed under Biden will not be similar when Trump takes over?
Oh, I think it's much more complex than that. I mean, in the first place, Zelensky's predictions are known for being totally wrong. And I don't see the war ending in any hurry because Putin doesn't want it to end in any hurry. He's edging himself forward quite nicely. Zelensky has to do something because, as your previous speaker said, his popularity is down to 16%. But you know, he's not got the army and a lot of people behind him for offering up land. And what he's doing actually is he's telling NATO that unless you back me and give us chance of NATO, this is going to keep going. That's his message. It's not a message about giving up land. It's a message about we're going to lose land unless you actually back us. And I don't see that happening.
Right. All right. Very interesting there. Thank you very much indeed, Colonel Grant, for joining us and getting us with that perspective there.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.